What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns here, and Rockstar has just released the official trailer for Grand Theft Auto Heists, and you can check out the trailer below in the description section via IGN, and there's a lot of information to go over, so this is going to be a rather long video. So sit back, relax, go get a beverage, some popcorn, and enjoy. Plus, we got screenshots from IGN showing you some images from Heists, and I even did some screenshots myself from the trailer that we will discuss after we're done going over this IGN article. So some pretty cool stuff. A lot of things apparently going to be in Heists, which is, of course, coming out in early 2015, according to Rockstar and IGN. So, no, we will not be getting Heist on the 23rd of December. I know Neil X Mod said we probably were, but it looks like that's obviously not going to happen. But we still might just get a holiday DLC. So I think we'll get a holiday DLC on December 23rd with a lot of cool stuff. But then the big DLC is going to be early 2015 with Grand Theft Auto Online Heists, hopefully in January. Alright, so here we go. Once again, this is from IGN. To say we've waited a long time for multiplayer Heists to get added to Grand Theft Auto Online would be the understatement of the year. More like the understatement of the decade. The bad news is we still don't have a concrete date for when it's finally happening. The good news, however, is that we do now have a killer trailer showing off, as well as the interview that they did with Grand Theft Auto Online producer and lead mission designer Imran Sarwar. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm not, I do apologize. Who was kind enough to answer many questions from IGN. So here we go with the Q&A. IGN asked this question. The big question, of course, is why has it taken so long for Heist to come together? Imran said this: to be honest, they just turned out to be a lot more difficult than we originally thought. Our initial idea was to build on the concept of the story mode Heist to make a new gameplay experience for Grand Theft Auto Online that was more focused on cooperation, where everybody could play to their individual strengths and feel like they had a stake in the outcome. So we started working on the concept, a series of multi-tiered missions featuring diverse prep work, a range of different types of gameplay, and a big finale where the team coordination and playing your own distinct role could make the difference between success or failure. We also wanted each one to have a unique thread that brought you back in touch with some of the characters from the story. As it turns out, creating missions of that complexity for multiplayer at the same time was much more difficult than we anticipated, and every time we thought we were close, something would send us back to square one. Having already let players know of our intentions with heists, every setback only increased the pressure to make sure we got them right. One of the challenges was that unlike a heist in story mode, every player needs to feel central to the action at all times. That's much more challenging than it appears. A good example is the classic idea of your getaway driver waiting outside of a bank for the big score. A movie might not spend too much time focusing on that person because they're waiting and we're watching the action going on in the vault, similar to the situation in story mode. We could use a character to switch mode between players and always be in the center of the action and switch back to the driver later. But to make this work for multiplayers, we needed to create situations where the driver had something interesting to do at exactly the same time as the rest of their team are locked down in the bank and making their way with the money. After many months of designing, testing, rewriting, and retesting, we settled on 4-player structure that you will experience in the game. It took a ton of work for our programmers and mission designers to make it work at the level that we are happy with. Continuing, even as we were working to solve this, the entire team was throwing everything we could at creating the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC versions of Grand Theft Auto 5, adding first-person mode, building a new replay editor for PC, as well as constantly working to improve the Grand Theft Auto Online experience. All these projects are linked and require the attention of our core staff, our core team, at all times, so despite our best efforts, we simply wound up needing more time to make sure every one of these projects was as good as it could possibly be. We never want to have to move a date, but if something is delayed, it's because it's not at the level we expect of ourselves. And while we're not there yet, we're getting close, and Heist will be ready in early 2015. Yes! Sorry, I got a little excited there. All right, continuing with the interview with IGN. How does heist work actually? And Imran's response: each heist requires 4 players, all at rank 12 or more. So you'll have to be at least rank 12 in order to do heist, which really doesn't take that very long. With 1 player as the designated heist leader, leading a heist requires owning a high-end apartment so that you'll have room available to set up a planning board. From there, you'll be able to launch missions as the leader, starting with the prep work and building up to the score itself. Being a heist leader has advantages and disadvantages. On the upside, Lester contacts the leader directly when there's news of a job, and it's up for the leader to invite the players into the crew, assign positions, pick outfits, and allocate each player's cut. On the other hand, the heist leader will need to personally front the setup costs in order to successfully pull off the heist. Unlike the leader, the other crew members get a cash payout for each prep mission, while the leader won't receive their cash until the finale is complete. Switching between the roles of crew member and heist leader will give players a totally different experience, and we have to make sure that the real incentives to playing each position so that players will see every aspect of how a heist comes together and not just want to stick to the same role each time. Some missions have all players working as one unit, some require players to take on specific tasks like hacking or crowd control, while others require players to split into smaller teams to complete separate high-value objectives. For example, one team may be stealing a getaway car from some gangsters, while another team is attempting to sneak into a police station, all within the same prep mission. We really want to push the co-op aspect and make players feel like they need to communicate effectively and work together to pull off each element. Each finale is a big set-piece mission with players taking on multiple roles. All through this, players will be gaining access to new vehicles, new weapons, new items, and new clothing, as well as visiting some surprising locations and interacting with other familiar characters from the story. IGN: given the time between original announcement of Heist and today, I suspect that they've had changed a lot in that time. Is that the case? Imran: definitely. They had to. It took several passes from scratch before we settled on the design we have now. Prep and setup missions in story mode could relatively be low-key affairs, but with 4 players and an emphasis on replayability, we felt that we needed to make these as diverse and as fun as possible. This required a totally new way of testing as we formed into teams and played and replayed a huge range of scenarios in order to make sure that the balance and timing of each section felt right. Another thing that's changed since the beginning was how we integrated each player into the mission objectives. The DNA for Heist goes back as far as some of our favorite Vice City missions, but there have been some standout missions through San Andreas and of course Grand Theft Auto 4 and 5 that inspired us. However, those were all single player missions, and our initial attempts at Heist turned out to be a lot of fun for 1 or 2 players, while other players were getting left on the sidelines. The more we developed and really pushed the concept, the more we worked to make each of the 4 players feel integral to the mission. It meant rethinking absolutely everything and rebuilding it from the ground up on several occasions. But it also massively improved each mission's replayability as you have the chance to go back, switch roles to the experience completely from different sides of the same mission. We also added trip skips to allow players to skip longer drives if they have already played the mission, as well as carefully balancing checkpoints with a range of difficulty levels to give players of all skill levels a real challenge. We have also tried to add player choice whenever possible, from clothing to the tactics involved and so on. IGN: how many heists will you have at launch? Imran: there are 5 unique strands involving over 20 total missions, which will add up to over 20 hours of gameplay. We hope players will then replay them multiple times to take on the other roles and try different ways of tackling and missions. We've tried to add a lot of variety, and there's a mixture of open-ended gameplay, big setup pieces, and a few surprises too. We have several rewards for players as well, such as playing all 5 heists in order with the same set of players, and another bonus for playing all of them in first person on the PS4, Xbox One, and PC. As well as an elite bonus challenge, which are essentially big cash rewards if you complete each part of the heist while meeting certain criteria such as time to complete, damage taken, accuracy, etc. IGN, can you give a blow-by-blow example of your favorite heist that's in the game right now? Imran, I don't want to spoil the whole heist, but a favorite would be the finale of an epic prison break where players come from different points on the map to join together just at the right time. It requires a pilot, demolitions expert, and some undercover work to pull it off, and it takes real teamwork, the ability to think fast, and a lot of communications to put all the pieces into place to extract the target flawlessly. It's also a heist that isn't just about stealing money, and it's definitely not about going in all guns blazing. IGN, so what's next? Imran, right now we just want to get heists out there and get the real world feedback before we look too far ahead. Reaching this point has obviously taken much longer than we ever thought it would, and we know we have a lot to live up to, but we're looking forward to finally being able to share them with other players soon. Feel free and go read the article for yourself and watch the heist trailer, both linked in the description section to IGN. Now we're going to go over some screenshots I took from the trailer. First off, an aircraft carrier. Oh, that looks scary, doesn't it? It looks like it's going to be a heist mission. Oh, yes, aircraft carrier. I wonder if they'll actually put the aircraft carrier in free mode, and it'll be very similar to Fort Zancudo. If you fly near it, you get attacked. That would be so cool. Like, put it on, like, the other side of the map where there's nothing over there. That would be awesome. All right, next, a brand new helicopter, apparently, an Army helicopter. Now, I don't know if this is going to be available in free mode or not, but if you look at another shot of this helicopter, there's obviously two big, giant, mean guns on this baby. It looks like two miniguns or Vulcan guns. This thing looks like a lot of fun. Probably a basic helicopter with 4 people, a pilot, a co-pilot, and then 2 gunners. That thing looks like it would be fun to fly around in. Hopefully it will be available in free mode, or at least you can steal it for a short time. Another helicopter. This thing looks like one of those old-style Russian attack helicopters from the backside. There's not a front side yet, but this is the image I got off the trailer, and it looks like you're about to attack a military convoy out by the Alamo Sea. The next is, of course, part of the prison break, and you and one of your teammates obviously sneaking into the police station disguised as cops. Hopefully we'll actually be able to keep the cop uniforms and wear them in free mode during missions and whatnot. That would be really sweet. Okay, so the flare gun confirmed. Yes, that's right. We're going to have a flare gun. I don't know if we're going to be able to use it as an actual weapon to set people on fire, but obviously we're going to be able to use it in heist missions. Next, here's this new guy, our new contact besides Lester, in your heist room, obviously, with the map and all the stuff fully decked out on the back wall. And look over there in the far right corner. There's a dartboard. That's right. It looks like we're going to get mini games added to our apartment. So it looks like you'll be able to play darts in the heist room coming up in just a few weeks or months or years from now when heists finally come out. All right, so here's another image of the heist room, and we have a better shot at the payouts, of course, for the pilot, which gets 55%. I'm guessing the pilot is also going to be the leader because he gets the most money, which is, according to the map, $368,000, and everyone else, the other 3 members of the team, the crew, each get 15%, which is just over $100,000. The reward for this particular heist is going to be $670,000, and as always, that's probably the max amount of reward you can get. You probably can lose a little bit of money. You probably can do some things that end up costing you a paycheck, so you may not get that $100,000, and you may not get that full $368,000 if you're the crew leader for this particular heist. One more image of the heist room before we move on. Obviously, this new contact guy is telling you all the to-do things you have to do, all these other side missions, get a plane, get the bus, go to the police station apparently or something, get the transport schedule in order to properly get yourself and your crewmates set up to carry out the heist. So it's really cool that we finally get to see what the heist room looks like, fully decked out with all the heist stuff on the wall. Now this next image I'm really jacked about, and you probably are too because you already saw it. Well, similar photo from IGN and the photos that I put up while reading the interview. This is the Hydra, yes, confirmed for Grand Theft Auto Online Heists. I guess it's going to be part of an aircraft carrier raid where you and your friends go aboard the aircraft carrier that I showed you a moment ago. You jump on, you steal the Hydra, you fly off to safety. But it looks like in the background, if you look real closely, that might be Fort Zancudo, which means that this aircraft carrier might only be found during this specific heist mission. So we may not see the aircraft carrier in free mode, but hopefully we'll be able to get our hands on the Hydra, either at Fort Zancudo military base or via Pegasus. More military vehicles are Merryweather vehicles. This is obviously an armored military truck. It looks really mean, really cool with those big mean tires on it, armored gear. Hopefully another vehicle we'll be able to use and drive around in free mode, or at the very least buy from Pegasus, or steal and drive around for a short time from Merryweather. But it looks really mean, and here's another image of another one of the vehicles. This one has a gun on top of it. Hell yeah. I think this is part of the convoy raid that we showed a moment ago with the Russian attack helicopter. And these are pretty sweet looking military vehicles, our Merryweather vehicles. Obviously, the Buzzard helicopter is Merryweather or some mercs trying to kill you, and you have to use the gun on top of this vehicle to kill them. So I seriously doubt you'll be able to purchase this specific vehicle from Pegasus for free mode, but you never know. Next, night vision during a heist mission. Oh yeah. And maybe, just maybe, this will be a new feature added to guns or specific goggles you have to wear. I don't know. I mean, it would be really cool if we actually had night vision, not just for a specific free mode mission or missions, but also for other missions at night, and of course free mode as well during the nighttime. It would just be a lot of fun to have night vision. But I definitely could see where you would have a distinct advantage over other players at night with night vision goggles on, or night vision scopes on your weapons. Next, we have a brand new mask. That's right, the sad mask, as I'm calling it. He looks so sad. He's not going to get as much money because he's not the crew leader. Oh, so sad. And I saw several masks actually in the IGN images. It looked like one, it was a goblin. One kind of looked like Frankenstein. Another one looked kind of like Freddy Krueger. So it looks like we're going to get a ton of new masks for Heist, which is really, really awesome. And speaking of masks, yes, ski masks! We're finally getting ski masks in Grand Theft Auto Online. Hopefully all these masks will be purchasable at the mask store down at Vespucci Beach, not just in heist missions. And look at that drill, baby! That's a mean looking drill. I wonder if we're going to get the drill for free mode, for like missions as a melee weapon. That would be sweet. I seriously doubt it though, but could you just imagine running around the place with the drill, just maiming NPCs and cops and other players, killing them with a drill? That's just wrong. Alright, so here's another image for you. This armored out looking sports car. I can't identify which sports car it is, but I think it is a sports car, even though it's four-door. Still, there are four-door sports cars like the Buffalo S. And it looks armored out like the Duke of Death is. So this might be a specific getaway vehicle you have to get, and perhaps modify at Los Santos Customs specifically for heist missions, similar to the Big Score where you had to make the gauntlets capable of carrying tons of gold. So it's probably not going to be something you're going to be able to buy in free mode for your vehicles, but it still looks really, really cool. And here's another image of this sports car being carried away by a cargo bob with a little upgrade on the cargo bob. It looks like some sort of a magnet, so it's probably going to make it a lot easier for you to pick up vehicles with the magnet as opposed to the hook. But once again, I don't know if the magnet is going to be equipable for free mode. It's probably just something you get equipped on this cargo bob you steal in a heist mission. And the final image is obviously some sort of yacht raid where you and your teammates board a yacht for some reason with helicopters and boats, and you gun down these guys, and I guess you might be after somebody or some sort of item aboard the yacht. Who knows? It's going to be very interesting and hopefully a lot of fun as well, but I seriously doubt we'll see the yacht in free mode. But then again, you never know. So there you have it, all the information that we have so far regarding Heists, officially confirmed to be finally coming out early 2015, hopefully. If you found the video informative and are excited about Heists finally coming out sooner rather than later, hit the like button and let me know below in the comment section, what are you most excited about? The new missions, the payouts, the new masks, the new military vehicles that we might or might not be able to purchase or fly around in free mode, like the Hydra, those sweet looking military trucks, the two new helicopters we saw, the Russian-style attack helicopter and the Army helicopter? Let me know below in the comment section. And be sure and check out my channel for awesome content 7 days a week. If you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. Each and every subscription really does help my gaming channel grow. And as always, thanks for watching.